man. What the hell was that song? What the hell was that song all about? For a minute there, I was thinking that with his reference to being like a lady and that sort, I was thinking that maybe the song was about, I don't know, prostitution or something like that. Yo, man, hey, help me out. I have no idea what this song is about, where it was going, what the intended meaning of it is, if there ever was one. Maybe it's just some really, really excellent creative ramblings from the artists themselves. I know Yes is very good with that, and I've been warned that sometimes you don't want to interpret lyrics too much. Sometimes it's a good mental exercise. Sometimes it's a fool's errand. But all the same, man, I like to do it. But yo, this particular song's got me. It'll be interesting, man. Let's do a little social experiment. What the hell do you think this song is all about? Let me know. Send me a couple of interpretations, man. That would be very, very interesting. Give me your take on it. But all the same, man, the whole side is great. Very, I will use the word introspective. I think that he is singing from a lot of his collective life's experiences, and he wanted the overall album to come across as being very personable. Hey, let me share a part of me with you. You know me as one person through Buffalo Springfield and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and let me show you who I am. I've got your undivided attention. You're focused just on me. Let me share something with you. I think this album is, I think that's the overall intention behind this album. Correct me if I'm wrong. If that's how I'm feeling, but maybe it isn't. We'll see, man. But anyway, hey, I think the album is excellent. Here I go again with that word. It's got depth, and it just had me sitting here just with a whole bunch of things swirling around in my mind. But I did say that I want to see the world through the eyes of Neil Young, kind of get an idea of what it's like to be in that guy's head, you know. So this album, definitely we're off to a great start, man. So hey, this is part 2, and I'm gonna attach the review behind it starting now. So this is my cutoff point from part 2. So let's get into the review, man. Let me just let me just bring up the page here and do a little background on this debut album and see what it's all about, what he was thinking, you know, get a feel for, I don't know, just what it's like to be him. So, yeah, okay, so here, Wikipedia's got just, 2.5 short paragraphs here about the album itself. Yeah, we'll read that. But there's detailed information, a little more information about 2 of the big songs on the album, The Loner and I've Been Waiting For You. So we'll read that too, but let's start with some overall album info. So, Neil Young. Neil Young is the self-titled debut studio album by Canadian musician Neil Young following his departure from Buffalo Springfield in '68, issued on Reprise Records. Some sources place the album's release date January 22nd of '69, while other sources have the release date as Young's 23rd birthday, November 12th, in '68. It was then partially remixed and re-released in November of '69, but at no time has the album ever charted on the Billboard 200. Okay, let's scroll down to release history. The first release used the HICO CSG encoding system. This technology was intended to make stereo recordings or stereo records compatible with mono record players, but had the unfortunate side effect of degrading the sound. Young was unhappy with the first release. Quote, "The first mix was awful," he was reported as saying in Cashbox September 6th of '69. "I was trying to bury my voice because I didn't like the way it sounded," unquote. The album was therefore remixed as announced in Rolling Stone issue 47 from December 13th and re-released without HICO's CSG processing. The words Neil Young were added to the album cover about what was left of the original stock had been used up, so copies of both mixes exist in the original sleeve. Copies of the original mix are now rare and sought after because many Neil Young fans believe that the remix diminished the songs, especially Here We Are in the Years. Okay. Reception. So, let's read that. Very, very short. Rolling Stone wrote, quote, "In many ways, a delightful reprise of that Springfield sound done in a new way," unquote. In its retrospective review, AllMusic described it as an uneven, low-key intro to Young's solo career. How interesting is that, man? It's as if the reviews are backwards, isn't it? Usually Rolling Stone is giving you kind of like more of a negative review, and AllMusic is usually the more optimistic, but it's reversed in this case here. Interesting. Man, and that's it for album info. Not a lot. I was hoping to get a little bit more in a sense of what inspired him to go his own way, how he felt. Was he relieved? Was he scared? How did he leave his former bandmates? Just background info. I expected more, but I guess you can't always have everything. So let's do a little bit of reading on two of the big songs, man. Let's start with The Loner. The Loner is a song by Neil Young, his first solo single. It was released on his solo debut album in November of '68, and then an edited version as his debut solo single 3 months later on Reprise Records. It missed the Billboard Hot 100 chart completely, but over time has become a staple of his performance repertoire. Both it and Sugar Mountain, its B-side, recorded live at the Canterbury House in Ann Arbor, Michigan, were released on album together for his 1977 compilation Decade. History. The Loner was written while Buffalo Springfield was in its last throes. The wildly held assumption that the song was written about Stephen Stills, who covered the song on his '76 album Legal Stills, can perhaps not be disproved. Young himself rarely provides clarity on such issues, but it is perhaps more likely that the song is autobiographical in nature, especially since Young was, of all Springfield members, the most bothered by playing as a member of the band. Okay, now you see, you can't just drop that and not explain what that means. Give me more, man. What was he bothered by? Did he just want to go his own way? Did he feel personal strife with someone? Was he butting heads with someone? He was a yin and they were a yang. What are they talking about here? Why was he the most bothered by playing as a member of Buffalo Springfield? Let me know about that, man, if you know your history here. Yeah, so let's keep reading, man. Praise came quickly, for instance, in the album review in Rolling Stone. Quote, "The Loner is a contemporary lament that features a nice blending of Neil's guitar with strings in non-obstructive fashion, allowing Young's balanced, ice-pick vocal to chip effectively at the listener," unquote. And that's from Rolling Stone. The song is still played live, as is one other song from Neil Young, "The Old Laughing Lady." Stephen Stills has played the song live with and without Young. The song was featured on the soundtrack of the movie The Strawberry Statement and is included on the movie soundtrack album. Okay, and so that's info for The Loner. So there's a short paragraph info here for I've Been Waiting For You. So let's read that. I've Been Waiting For You is a song written by Neil Young, which he recorded for his '68 debut album, his solo album, in a song review for AllMusic. Critic Matthew Greenwald described it as one of the most powerful and well-crafted songs from Neil Young's self-titled solo debut. A very strong and engaging melody is set against a striking descending guitar riff, which serves as the song's hook, unquote. Young did not perform the song with Crazy Horse or Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, although he recorded a live solo acoustic version in November of '68, just a few days before the release of the album version. It was later included on the live album Sugar Mountain, live at Canterbury House in '68, released in 2008. Okay, and there's a David Bowie version. David Bowie recorded a version of the song, which features Dave Grohl on guitar for Heathen in 2002. It was released as a single in Canada and reached number 11 in the singles chart. Okay, and that is the information given for the album and these two excellent songs, man. And yeah, hey, a very, very good debut. Let me tell you, you can't ask for more than that. And, of course the critics have their opinions, but I think this is a very, very good outing, very, very satisfactory. And being Neil Young and kind of getting a feel for his style, and him kind of going in depth and going a little on the deep side. Yeah, totally right up his alley, and it's what you would expect from a debut album, in my opinion. I'm just putting myself in the mind's eye of a critic, and I'm satisfied with that album, and I would definitely optimistically be looking forward to his next project. So hey, great start, good foundation to actually build on and get to know Neil Young a little bit better, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting into more of what he's doing. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably bounce around and try, but at least put a lot of your recommendations in kind of like a chronology and just follow a date progression so that I can actually see his growth, take a walk with him and kind of get a feel for what's happening, what's inspiring his next creative itch and things of that sort. So I think it's just the best way to proceed when you are covering an artist with such a vast catalog of music. I'm going to do the same thing with Bob Dylan, and I think the key with artists that have so many songs is to follow the growth progression through the timeline. Follow what he does, follow a time progression, and I think that I will get a really, really good idea as to what he's feeling, what he's like, how he thinks, how he comes about, the creative element of putting a song together and all of those different sorts of things, his attitudes, his moods, and all of that. So that is the I guess the depth that I want to go into where it comes to getting to know some of these great musicians, you know. So that's what I'm gonna do, unless there is I don't know, someone who has a different idea of how I should approach things, and we'll see. We'll see along the course of the month. I'm sure that I'll probably maybe adjust this or adjust that or whatever. I'm just scrolling down here before I bounce, man. Just checking my notes out. Okay, I didn't leave any notes except really, yeah, of course I still got my quads. My quads are always ongoing. Yeah, John, you're up next, man. And then Ron's got one, and a couple of new patrons that just joined in a few days. I'll get to that. And just another note, I think I'm just going to be dropping this note for the next, I don't know how long. If you're a patron, silver and up, and you have not received your complimentary quad, please get a hold of me. Send me the links again, and I will definitely jump on it and make it priority. You're someone who's probably fallen in between the cracks, and by now everyone knows that I did some stupid shit, and I erased a big portion of my reactions calendar. So if you are a patron, and I know that, you know, of course you don't watch every reaction or whatnot, and you know, you might only check in once in a while. So if you're watching this, let me know. And what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to basically just post a reminder and a note in text, just to let everyone know that, hey, you know, if you are a patron, silver and up, haven't received your complimentary quad, get a hold of me. Resend the links, and we'll go from there, okay? So that's what I want to do. I want to stay on top of my quads. Big New Year's resolution. So I'm sticking with it, man. Yeah, that's it. That's it for my notes. So thanks for joining me, man. Hope you like this reaction. Hope you like this first debut album of Neil's. I really like it, and I'll definitely listen to it a few more times, man. And yeah, so my next Neil Young installment I think what I'm going to do is probably hit either a couple of triples and quads, probably sticking to a few quads as I go along, and go from there. So I got a patron exclusive to do in addition to the complimentary quad. So look for my next Neil installment in about a day or so, and we'll go from there. All right, you guys have yourselves a good night, and I'll see you first thing in the morning. Peace out.